2, 1.
Good evening, everyone. This is Mayor Cyril Jefferson convening the regular meeting of the High Point City Council. We only have one regular council, that is. We appreciate you all taking time to be here with us for this meeting. To get started, we're actually going to ask everyone to rise for a moment of silence and pledge of allegiance. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag. Here with me on dais, we have every member of council present. We also have Madam Manager, Madam Attorney, and Madam Clerk, as well as the rest of our professional staff. We do have our agenda, and I'll ask if there's a motion to adopt our agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is recognized by Councilmember Andrew and seconded by Councilmember Johnson. I want to just add a point of discussion here that we are going to amend our agenda to add one special recognition for the Tanzanian delegation. Councilmember Andrew, is your motion okay if we add that in terms of amend our agenda for that?
That's fine. Thank you.
And your second still good,
Absolutely.
Councilmember Johnson. Any other discussion on this motion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any against? The ayes have it, and we have our agenda adopted. The first honor that we'll recognize is for Arbor Day. And to do this honor, I'm going to ask Miss Amy McBride. How are you doing? Appreciate you making time to be here with us for all the work that we continue to do, okay? From the Office of the Mayor, City of High Point, North Carolina, proclamation. Whereas trees are a precious natural resource that improve the appearance of our community, increase the value of property, moderate air temperature, lower energy costs, reduce soil immersion and stormwater runoff, and produce life-giving oxygen. Did y'all remember trees do all that? Every time you see a tree? Yeah. And whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this special day, known as Arbor Day, is now celebrated throughout the nation and world. And whereas the state of North Carolina has determined that Arbor Day shall be celebrated annually on the first Friday following the 15th of March. And whereas the city of High Point has created an urban forestry program to conserve, protect, and maintain trees in city spaces. Now therefore I, Cyril Jefferson, Mayor of High Point, North Carolina, do hereby proclaim March 21st, 2025 as Arbor Day for the city of High Point. Call upon all of our residents and citizens of our city to participate in ceremonies and activities to preserve and enhance our community's urban forests for the benefit of all residents and visitors. Can we please celebrate this incredible urban
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. I'm Amy McBride, Senior Planner with the Planning and Development Department, and I'm pleased to announce that High Point has received its 21st Tree City USA designation. The city earned this recognition by meeting the program's 4 requirements: having a tree board, a public tree ordinance, a community forestry program, and annual expenditures of at least $2 per capita, and an Arbor Day observance and proclamation. This recognition signifies that our community values the important and practical role trees play in beautifying our city, while also emphasizing responsible stewardship. The city's Urban Forestry Committee is responsible for overseeing the implementation of our public tree ordinance, along with guidelines and standards, practices that all property owners are encouraged to follow. Over the past year, thanks to your support, we've continued to implement several new planting projects that ensure at least one tree is planted for every tree removed from city property. This past December, we completed our first neighborhood tree planting, installing 25 new canopy and ornamental trees within the Emerywood area, and we're currently studying additional neighborhoods to select for a second neighborhood planting project scheduled for this fall. The Urban Forestry Committee is also collaborating with local community groups, including Keep High Point Beautiful and High Point University, on various planting projects throughout the city. Our Plant to Remember Memorial Tree Program continues to grow, and since 2010, a total of 136 trees have been donated by the public. Last year, the city successfully hosted its inaugural tree giveaway for residents in honor of Arbor Day, receiving positive feedback from the community, and we are excited to announce our second event, scheduled for Saturday, March 22nd, to again offer residents the opportunity to receive a complimentary tree in honor of Arbor Day. We look forward to continuing this important tradition, as it not only enhances our community but also fosters a sense of pride among our residents. The Urban Forestry Committee, as Mayor Jefferson highlighted already in his reading of an Arbor Day proclamation, there are numerous economic benefits to planting trees. They improve air quality, reduce runoff, and enhance the beauty of our city for everyone to enjoy. And thank you for your continued support.
Ms. McBride, thank you so much, and thank you to everyone who works really hard to ensure that we have trees in a very healthy way all throughout our city, and that supports the prosperity of every resident and every other creature that's throughout the city. Our next honor that we get to celebrate today is School Social Worker Week. And for that, I'm going to invite up Mr. Pemberton, who's a school social worker at Southwest Guilford County High School. Mr. Pemberton, are there any other social workers here with you today?
Are there any social workers, school social workers in the building? The invite went out, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
The invite went out.
All right, why don't you come on up? Whereas school social workers in High Point serve as vital members of the educational team, playing a central role in creating a positive environment at schools. And whereas school social workers in High Point are especially skilled in identifying and providing services to students who face serious challenges to school success, including poverty, disability, discrimination, abuse, addiction, bullying, loss of a loved one, and other barriers to learning. And whereas the school district and local educational agencies should continue to work with school social workers to address students' social, emotional, physical, mental health, and environmental needs so that students may achieve academic success. Now, therefore, I, Cyril Jefferson, Mayor of High Point, North Carolina, do hereby proclaim March 2nd to March 8th, 2025 as School Social Work Week, and encourage all citizens of our city to recognize and celebrate the invaluable contributions of school social workers in supporting student success and well-being. I would note that we do have one other honor and recognition that we'll do a little later in our meeting, and appreciate you all bearing with us. Next, we'll have our public comment period. Public comment period is typically held on the first Monday of the regular city council meeting scheduled at 5:30 p.m. or soon thereafter as reasonably possible. Following recognitions, awards, and presentations, persons who have signed the register to speak shall be taken in the order in which you are listed. Others who wish to speak and have not signed in may be taken after those who have registered. Persons addressing City Council are asked to limit their comments to 3 minutes. Citizens will be asked to come to the podium, state your name and address, and the subject on which you will comment. If a large number of people are present to register concerns about the same subject, you'll be acknowledged as a unified group so that a designated speaker can cover your various points. With that, the first person we'll recognize is Sam Lacine.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm here to speak to the council to thank High Point University for withdrawing the proposal to relocate the Greenway. I met with Dr. Quabain last week, and Dr. Quabain acknowledged that in proposing the relocation, the university had only considered its own needs and had not considered the interests of the community. And when he realized how much community support there was for the Greenway, he decided to withdraw the proposal. I told Dr. Quabain, and I want to say this publicly, that his acknowledgement that the university had made a mistake took courage and showed leadership, and I thanked him for doing so, and I thank him again today. I asked Dr. Quabain for a commitment that he would not bring the relocation proposal back to council during his tenure, and he gave me that commitment. He acknowledged and agreed that he would not propose to limit, relocate, close, or otherwise impact the Greenway. And again, I thank High Point University for that commitment. And finally, I suggested to Dr. Quabain that in the future, he might consider community input in the formative stages of this kind of proposal so that he might interact with the community and receive community ideas and suggestions that would be productive and would also avoid the kind of controversy that this proposal generated. And I would ask all members of council to do the same, that we involve the community in these proposals, take community suggestions, and then act accordingly. And I think if we do that, I think we'll have a lot more buy-in, if you will, with the university's ideas, because the community will have had their input and would be supportive of those ideas. I thank the council for allowing me to speak both tonight and last month, and thank again Dr. Quabain and High Point University for their leadership. And before I end my comments, who's here to support the Greenway? Could you stand up? This is a big deal to the community, and we thank everyone for their participation.
Thank you. Thank you. Next on our list, the first name is James. I can't make out the last name, but if you signed up, I believe the last name may start with an M. Why don't you come on forward to our podium? State your name and address for the record.
No, I'm coming to speak. We have spoken for our group on Cedro, but this is on Arlington. I'm talking about Arlington. I've been trying to get Doris to
Will
kind
you
of
say
straighten
your
things
name
out.
for the record so we can have it recorded? Your name?
James L. Martin Sr. My name is James L. Martin Sr. I still know that, but no, we talked. Me and you talked, Mayor, about the situation what was going on on that way. Now, we met at the gym with gym up there. We talked about the situation going on. We was getting speed bumps on our street, which they did that. They did that. But it's so messy. People riding up and down the street, running over the thing. They're using it as a play toy. I mean, they don't think about the speed over there. We have some fatality over there. Now, we have fatality over there. I told them not to do that. We in the school zone. We in the school zone. Now, I was asking that they upgrade that, what they did over there. What they said, cost of emergency vehicles going back and forth, all the emergency vehicles going back and forth like that. And what really tore me up, we had one to come out and spoke to us for then. He was saying, well, for the emergency vehicles that comes through there, they want to tear up the equipment. I mean, I said, that hurt me a little bit. I said, what about the kids that are going to and fro about school like that? What about the kids that are going to and fro from school? Well, I figure they really don't care about that. Well, I got it. And a child's life, or anyone, grown person, and a child's life is more than a vehicle. You can hit that vehicle fixed. You can fix that vehicle, but you can't bring that child or that one that, well, even double. You can't bring them back. And that's why I'm on so hard. That to me was like speaking go out of one ear and you go out the other. See, this is a serious thing. I'm sitting right, my house is sitting right at Cedro. It's sitting right at Cedro. And they put I think they put a 25 miles per hour speed limit. Well, they take for them, they still come out doing 45, 50 miles an hour down that street. I done had 5 vehicles to go in my yard. Thank God that, haven't hit and made me homeless. You know what I mean? I think that's a serious problem. I called the police. And then I already get it recorded. Get back to with him later.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? I called the police. They said, get back later. Hey,
Mr. Martin,
boom, I'm over.
thank you.
Okay. I could talk I thought you could have heard me.
Next on our list is George Bartlett. Mr. Bartlett, if you're here and would like to speak, please come forward. Next, council will recognize Dr. Sherelle Fuller.
Good evening, Mayor Jefferson, Madam City Manager, and Council. I am Sherelle Fuller, 2926 Dexterity Court, and I am First Vice President of the High Point NAACP. And on behalf of our membership, we wish to thank City Council members, Commissioner Calvina Foster, Pastor Frank Thomas, and members of the High Point community for attending our very successful home ownership fair last Thursday at the High Point YWCA. This was an information prerequisite event for future homeowners. This is one of many events that parallel with our One High Point Commission on Policy-Based Reparations initiative. Improving health access and outcomes is another priority. April is Mental Health Month, and on April 5th, 2025, from 11 to 2, we're inviting you to join us at our Mental Health Forum at Williams Memorial CME Church Fellowship Hall, 3400 Triangle Lake Road, High Point. We will have a professional panel to address mental health outreach with breakout sessions for questions and discussion. In keeping with these health initiatives, the National NAACP Moving Matters campaign and our Family First initiative, we will have events each Tuesday in April from 6 to 7 at Carl Chavis YMCA. We start with the walk around the indoor track. Then we will explore health and nutrition tips for healthier lifestyles by reducing blood pressure, A1C, and becoming more focused on a healthier diet. So please come out and join us, and we will have more information to follow. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fuller. Next on our list is Kirby Hurd.
Thanks, Mary Jefferson and members of the City Council, and thank you for this opportunity, privilege for an open forum to speak our concerns to you all. It is a privilege to have this, and I do appreciate it. When I moved here over 40 years ago, High Point College was a beautiful campus. It was proportionately sized to this town in which it was situated. In the summer that I worked on the grounds crew, the paper would come over and take pictures of the flowers to put on the Life page, and it was open, and I had friends who were alum. There were university families that surrounded the campus. They worked there, they taught there, they went to school there. And over time, and understandably, the college has grown. The programs have expanded, the footprint has expanded, and it blossomed into a full-blown university. But then the houses and other structures began to be swallowed up. The closure of OA Kirkman Way, the closure of Motloo between Centennial and College. There were local objections, there were concerns about emergency routes and response, neighborhood kids who attended Motloo School, and low dollar amounts offered for generational homes kind of was an insult because they knew it would lead to a demolition. Many of these structures were historical, not to mention many people for whom the streets were named. And those, I guess, have been erased from history. I'm not sure. So, and then there's always the question of what happened to the residents of William and Mary Apartments or Daniel Brooks housing. Do we know? I mean, if I can find that somewhere online, that'd be great. I'd like to know that. I read and hear about how HPU brings economic stability to the city, how the students shop in our stores, their families inject money into our local economy. Sure, I see them buying their, wine and beer at the grocery store, but I don't see civic engagement. I don't see stewardship like the website promotes. Instead, I see family businesses that are shuttered and homes that are either knocked down or turned into short-term rentals. The expansion has just gotten so obvious. The white oval signs became white rocking chairs, became the biggest gated community I've ever seen. And the Century entrances, keep out signs would be redundant. It feels like we are not welcome. And I think that's where the rift is coming with the expansion. I'm going to run out of time. I do think it's important that we speak our mind to the city and share our feelings with HPU. I wish they would have a community forum and involve us. I know that was one thing that NITO did way back when, but do it more. Let us know what's going on. Don't just spring on us what came out of a committee because you might be funding the PAC that supports that committee or whatever. We need more transparency with the college and with the city. And, thanks.
Ms. Hurd, thank you so much. I want to.
Oh, I'm sorry. I live on Ferris Avenue in Ward 2.
Awesome, perfect. Thank you so much. Ms. Hurd, appreciate your comments. I do want to note a few things. I think the university has been a partner here in the city.
I understand that.
And the adjustments in terms of growth and expansion, I believe have been felt by all, both positive and maybe for some doesn't feel as positive.
Yes, sir.
But I do think it's important to note some of the comments about civic engagement, the amount of volunteer hours that the university provides throughout the city. I just want to make sure it's clear for the record. I don't even know the total number, but it's in the hundreds of thousands every single year. As an educator here in this city, I've benefited from my students working with HPU volunteers every single day.
That's great to know. Thank you.
And I also think it's important to note that they do a lot to try to welcome the community. And I think perceptions about how people feel about the wall, I can't change how people feel. I understand how that's shared. But I think in light of what we've seen, it is important for the record to note that this university has been a great partner, that Dr. Cubain took that night and listened to every single comment, called me immediately and said, can we connect so we can talk about an alternative route? And so I want to make sure that we appreciate folks sharing their feedback, but also this is a city that recognizes the value of partnership with the university.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll send you an email.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on our list, we have, I think it's Sally McKeever or McIver. If you want to come on forward to the podium. So there's one speaker for your group, so everyone here down for Cedro is designated one speaker? Yes, we have. Okay, so I just want to make sure I note Sally McKeever, I see you, Donnie Golden, Maria McClendon. Okay, you're going to be our speaker, and that does not include, does that also include Brenda Gaines? Okay, and so you're all going to defer. I don't have you on my list, but yes, ma'am, you as well. So those four names that I just mentioned are all deferring to Maria McClendon. Ms. McClendon, if you'll come forward, you have 3 minutes to address council.
Good evening, Mayor Jefferson and City Council members. Thank you for allowing us this opportunity to address our issues that we're having, doing traffic calming issues, high rate of speed, and our neighborhood used as a cut-through, which has caused tragedy, hazards, and accidents in our neighborhoods, our yards, and additional hazards in the area. And I'm speaking on behalf of myself and our Cedro committee. If my beautiful family could stand, I'd like to recognize as well. Thank you. We have worked really hard to form a committee. It was brought to our attention during our traffic calming meeting that approximately 50 years ago, the High Point Police Department and a police chief designated Cedro Drive as an emergency route. During that time, due to the expansion of the highways, it has been used as a cut-through. There's been a high rate of speed through the area. There's been accidents that have happened in front of our homes, including myself. I've almost gotten hit by a car several times, as well as my neighbors and other associates and family members who are visiting. There's a blind spot when you're turning off of Arlington onto Cedro. The 1800 block of the Cedro Street begins of the 1100 block and ends at the 1800 block. When you're exiting from Gordon onto Cedro, there's a blind spot when you're coming down the hill. When they're driving at a high rate of speed, they don't realize that you're going towards a downward slope, which intersects with Arlington, which is Mr. Martin's home. They've had so many accidents, and they're driving so fast that we've almost gotten hit. We've almost gotten killed. We've had fatalities. We've had a fatality in front of 1203 Cedro Drive. The residents of the Witherspoons who reside at 1308 Cedro Drive had a seated vehicle that was driving so fast at a high rate of speed, they lost control and crashed into their home. It was an extended period of time before the repairs were even made to their homes. The residents of 1222 Cedro Drive with the Bynum residents, vehicles have crashed into their homes, their swimming pools, and their structures. It's not even safe for us to walk the neighborhoods any longer. We have a growing residents. Our residents are growing. It's increasing. There's lots of children. The children have almost gotten hit by cars. We have had traffic calming that has started with our transportation department with the city of High Point with Sarah Butler and George as well. We have 25-mile-per-hour speed limits that have been installed, and we're in the process of having additional petitions signed to expand the entire neighborhood. But this problem regarding the speeding is out of control, and we need help having it reevaluated and investigated to see what changes can be made to install speed bumps, cachines, anything to help us.
Ms. McClendon, thank you so much. I'm going to ask if our team could connect with Ms. McClendon and the group from the Cedro neighborhood. Our Assistant City Manager, Damon DeCane, does a great job working alongside our staff to work with residents on these issues. Damon, if you'll just show hand, maybe, so that way, Ms. McClendon, you'll know who he is. And then in terms of that process that you said, we can make sure to get it reevaluated. The point is heard about the speed bumps not being good enough there, so thank y'all.
Yes, thank you for allowing me the opportunity.
Absolutely, thank you. Thank you. Mr. Thibodeau,
Good evening. My name is Louis Thibodeau. I reside at 1242 Kensington Drive. Good evening, City Council and everyone else. Thank you for being here. I thank you for hearing all of us that spoke on the Greenway. I know it was a long night, but it is much appreciated. There were a lot of views brought forward, and I trust what High Point University has said in the form of Mr. Nito Cobain. I think that would help all of us if that was public knowledge besides just being here, because people might not know it, and they might appreciate knowing that. His stand on that, we appreciate it. And the other thing I wanted to bring forward was, I know you guys do a lot and spend a lot of hours doing things for the city, so you all appreciate it. You all appreciate it. I had one question my wife asked me to bring forward, and I don't know, maybe you guys already got it in the works, but we still have issues at red lights where people are asking for funds. And I know we've got the signs there, but what I saw at Main Street in Lexington, right past Harris Teeter, at that light, they're not standing right by the sign, they're standing off to the side. So they're not by the sign. But I know it's hard to kind of deal with that, but that would help. And in closing, I want you to know that I'll be praying for each one of you in the decisions you have to make each and every day, not just for some citizens, for all of us. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Thibodeau. That's the end of the list of those who signed up, but I imagine there are some folks who showed up. Maybe you didn't get a chance to sign up and you still want to speak for public comment. If there's anyone who wants to speak for public comment, didn't get a chance to sign up, can you just show your hand briefly? Is it just Mr. Diggs and young man here? So I just need to know, is it just Mr. Diggs and this young man? Okay, Mr. Diggs, if you go ahead and come forward, and then, sir, if you'll go ahead and come line up behind them, we'll take these two last public commenters, and then we'll move forward with the recognition.
How y'all doing tonight? And we still have like the 2-minute limit.
3 minutes.
3 minutes, okay. Anyway, I was.
Larry Diggs, for the record, can you just
yes.
state your address
Excuse me,
for
sir.
us?
Larry Diggs, 1127 Biltmore Avenue,
Okay.
High Point, North Carolina. I'm sorry.
No, thank you.
Now, I was wondering because at one point I've talked to about it, well, even the bus system and all like this. But right now, I'm seeing where I know right now it's hard to keep drivers on and everything like this and all. And, sometimes it's hard to maybe even compete with other local bus systems and all like that. But I know I talked to a couple of people over the last few years, and a lot of times, sometimes you can give incentives that can make things where if you can't, beat the benefits, at least you give incentives. And at one point, I know they used to have Employee of the Month, and then also they used to have Employee of the Year over the last 5 or 6 years, and they've taken that away. They've taken away several things that would be a good incentive for for bus drivers and everything like this. And a lot of them I know are leaving and going to other systems and all like that. And I just thought I would mention that. I think it would help if they find different incentives that would help keep them on, because many of them work hard and do a great job for this city and all like that. I want to mention one issue. Let me understand one thing now. On this changing the subject on trash pickup or, yard pickup. At one point, on the recycle day, I could put out trash and all like this, but now they told me it's changed and all like this. Sound like it's, I don't know if they redone everything and all like this, but being on Biltmore Avenue, they were saying now that it's on the regular day and not on the recycle day. And I don't know, anyway, I know I got my stuff sit out there now, I gotta take it back in because they said that they don't pick it up on that day and all, on this day like that and all. But anyway, but the main thing I really would like you to consider is particularly for the bus drivers, because I know they work hard and they do a good job for the city and everything like this. And I know even other cities are having problems retaining drivers, but right now, I think incentives would definitely help to keep drivers here in High Point and everything like this. I was talking to a young lady and several guys that came up. They're now working for the Winston-Salem city bus system. So I just thought I'd mention that, and I don't know whatever y'all can do to enhance things for the drivers.
Thank you for that. While you're there, I just want to clarify,
Okay.
garbage collection is still weekly, and recycling is bi-weekly,
Right.
and yard waste pickup from the tote is also every other, same as recycling? So it's not, will you just, because I want to just clarify for everyone here, if you don't mind. Mr. Robbie Stone. Yeah, Robbie Stone, if you'll come forward and just clarify for all of us here, the garbage pickup, recycling pickup, and yard waste pickup. Mr. Diggs, if you'll allow him to speak.
Oh, yeah, sure, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Yes, so garbage is still weekly. Recycling is every other week. We have made a temporary change for yard waste and bulk collection. Those are alternating each week. Right now, we are looking to reinstate yard waste collection, though, and we'll be communicating that here in the very near future as the growing season comes about us here in the near future.
Thank you so much, Mr. Stone. We encourage all residents, if you've got questions, you can always call our customer service line. The number is 336-883-3111. They'll make sure to provide the information as requested. Mr. Diggs, hopefully that answers your question about.
It did. I will talk with him a little bit more on that, because last year, at one point, I put out my recycles at a time, and they picked it up, and I don't know if they just changed the days or what, but I'll get that straight with him.
Thank you so much, Mr. Diggs. And your point about the buses are also duly noted. If you'll state your name and address for the record, and then you have 3 minutes.
Well, I want to say thank you for letting me speak. My name is Joshua Montgomery, and I live at 100 Bridlewood Avenue, and I'm a Boy Scout at Troop 26 at IHM. And one thing I wanted to talk about was across the street from where I live, they're putting up 2 new subdivisions. There's already one that's been put up, and they're building a new one. And with this new influx of people, we're going to need some more sidewalks. Like me going to the gym and going to the school and stuff, like coming down Main Street, Ski Club, I see way more people walking on the side of the street and in the ditch and in the grass and stuff. And it's just really unsafe for drivers out there. And I think with more sidewalks, it would be an opportunity for more people to get out, like start walking and stuff. And especially with this warmer weather, we're seeing more people out. So I think, I don't know if y'all have stuff for that, I guess, already like in progress, or you're thinking about doing stuff like that. But yeah, that's all I want to say. I see the rest of my time.
Yeah. Mr. Montgomery, thank you. Mr. Montgomery, thank you so much. I'll just note, we actually just had a meeting where our manager and her staff informed us that we'll have a public dashboard that keeps not only council but the public updated about various projects that are being worked on. And so we're under the understanding that the sidewalk work and improvements will be able to make that information more known and more readily accessible to the public on an ongoing basis. We do have a long list of neighborhoods and main thoroughfares where we want to put in sidewalks. And this council has had conversations about how to increase funding to be able to do that. We appreciate your comments this evening. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, all right, thank you all for public comments. I want to back up just a tad bit. And I want to call forward our very special guest, who I would say traveled the furthest to be here tonight. Unless you came from Asia, I guarantee you they came from further ways. I'm going to invite up the Honorable Joseph Bellini and the rest of the Tanzanian delegation. Will you all come forward, please?
Thank you.
And Derek Young, do you want to come forward too? Mr. Young is someone who does great work building relationships across really the world for the sake of America's interests. And when he reached out and talked about these gentlemen's trip here to America, and High Point was on the list. I said, oh man, it's on the list. But that's okay. You got to pass High Point to get to the Low Point, so I get that. All right, here we go. Dear Honorable Joseph Bellini and esteemed members of the Tanzanian delegation, on behalf of the City of High Point, it is my honor to welcome you to the United States. Your visit reflects the strong and enduring ties between Tanzania and the United States, built on shared values, diplomacy, and economic cooperation. We commend your efforts to strengthen U.S.-Tanzania relations through dialogue on governance, trade, and investment. Tanzania's dynamic business environment and strategic role in the East African community present significant opportunities for collaboration in key sectors such as agriculture, infrastructure, and financial services. The City of High Point values international partnerships. After all, we are North Carolina's international city, and look forward to exploring avenues for trade and investment that foster mutual prosperity. We welcome you as partners and look forward to building lasting connections. Wishing you a successful and productive visit. With warm regards, Cyril Jefferson, Mayor of High Point. Thank you all so much. Can you please celebrate this awesome group?
Thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming.
We appreciate everyone who took time to participate in the city's public comment period for today's meeting. All comments are duly noted, and trust that as a city council, we're listening and working as hard as we can to address any issues or concerns that may come up. Next, we'll move to approve our consent agenda. Having seen the items here, is there a motion from the dais?
So moved. Second.
Motion is recognized. The council member Andrew and seconded by Councilmember Holmes. Any discussion on the motion to approve our consent agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any against? The ayes have it, and we have our consent agenda items approved. Under general business, first item for discussion is item 2025-058. This is a public hearing regarding Parish Trust, Tickle Airs, and SBA Towers X LLC annexation 24-04. This item was continued from the February 17th regular city council meeting. At this time, I will open the public hearing. Or was it already open, actually? Okay, we will acknowledge that it was already open, and we'll pass it to Mr. Shannon.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Herb Shannon, Senior Planner with the Planning Department. This item and the next item, the rezoning case 2426, pertain to a 10-acre tract of land in the northern portion of the city's planning area. A request has been submitted for annexation and rezoning to support a commercial development. Staff provided an overview at your February 17th public hearing, and that hearing was continued to determine if there was additional public comment. Since the February 17th public hearing, staff has not received any additional requests for comment or any calls. Staff supports both of these requests, and the Planning Zoning Commission did recommend approval of the rezoning request and has forwarded to you a consistency and reasonableness statement. Just wanted to provide that brief summary.
Thank you, Mr. Shannon. We had our presentation a couple of weeks ago, but want to see if there's any additional questions from council at this time. Thank you. At this time, I think we heard from the applicant the last go-around, but if you all want to come back forward again.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of council. It's Mark Isaacson. My address is 804 Green Valley Road in Greensboro, and I'm just here to note for the record that I, along with two members of the team from Racetrack, are here and available for questions. We appreciate the council's consideration of our requests.
Thank you. We don't have anyone who signed up on the sign-in sheet, but if there's anyone here who would like to speak during this public hearing, you can come forward now. Seeing none, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing and make a motion to approve item 2025-058 and item 2025. Sorry, two separate votes. I'll make a motion for item 2025-058 and note that this item is in consistency. For the next one. Got you. At this time, I'll just make a motion for item 2025-058. The second is recognized by Mayor Pro Tem Moore. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any against? The ayes have it, and that motion passes. Next item is 2025-059. This is a zoning map amendment. I'll go ahead and make a motion and state that this, I thought we closed the public. Yeah, I think I closed it for all of them, because we opened it for all of them, right? Okay, all right. Thank y'all. I have a degree in Robert's Rules now. Thank you, Madam Attorney. I'll make a motion and state that this item is sort of, and it's consistent and reasonable in terms of our consistency and reasonableness statement as found in the staff report. Is there a second?
Second.
Second's recognized to Councilmember Holmes. Any discussion on that motion?
No discussion, Mr. Mayor, but comment. I'd like to thank the Racetrack organization. And welcome to Ward 6. I often survey the ward to make sure, as our economy continues to grow in Ward 6, that there are no open spaces. And so right now we're seeing buildings and businesses that were shuttered are now coming back to life. And one of the biggest areas where we needed concentration of development was in the area that Racetrack is coming to. So I want to thank you all for continuing to expand growth and opportunities in Ward 6, and we look forward to a really great partnership.
Thank you, Councilman Holmes. Any other discussion on this motion?
Councilman Moore, thanks for coming back. I know you had to come back for a little technical type errors, but thanks for the time and expense to be back before us.
Yes, we like when people stay the night in High Point. Thank you so much. Any other comments from the dais, questions, discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any against? The ayes have it, and that motion passes. The next item is item 2025-066, a public hearing for Series 2025 limited obligation bonds for stadium modifications and related authorizations. At this time, I'll go ahead and open the public hearing and recognize Mr. Bobby Fitzjohn, the city's Financial Services Director.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. We shared this information with the Finance Committee on Thursday, but we have two items before you. The first is the public hearing, which is now open, as well as an initial resolution authorizing up to $6.8 million of limited obligation bonds for stadium modifications. It's been a little bit, but back in the fall of 2022, it was announced that a professional soccer team was coming to High Point with a 2024 inaugural season. Council took action in the following spring of 2023 and issued a contract to CMAR contract to Samet to complete the stadium modifications to allow for the soccer team to make its home at Truist Point. Equipment and other things were purchased as necessary. This bond issuance will reimburse the city for those project expenses. It's been part of the debt financing model that you all have seen in the past. I will note that we ended up going with a 15-year option instead of a 20 and saved about $1 million by shortening the term. It still fit within that debt model really nicely. With the city's financial advisors and the local government commission, we issued a RFP for a direct bank loan in January. We issued that RFP to 50 national, regional, and local lending institutions. We received 6 proposals back. The TD Bank proposal had a 5.53%, 15-year option with a call date of April 1st, 2028, which gives us flexibility if we were to try to refinance that debt at a later date. So staff is recommending that we move forward with that at the conclusion of this public hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Fitzjohn. Are there any questions or comments for staff? This time, the public hearing is open, and we don't have anyone who's signed up to speak, but if there's anyone who would like to speak during the public hearing, you may come forward now. Seeing none, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing and make a motion to adopt the resolution of the City of High Point, North Carolina, authorizing the negotiation of an amendment to an installment financing contract, providing for certain other related matters thereto. Is there a second?
Second.
Second is recognized to Councilmember Johnson. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any against? The ayes have it, and that motion passes. Before we adjourn, I'll ask if there's any comments from members of council.
This is Councilmember Cook. I had the opportunity to attend Penn Griffin's February 11th commemoration and arts performance last week. It was rescheduled due to weather. Normally falls on the day or somewhere nearby. It was absolutely beautiful. It was February 11th. It was almost a packed house in their auditorium with the community members, descendants and/or original sit-in participants, and many friends and family of the student performers. It was very powerful, and it was great to see that history still alive for those students and for the community. So I would just recommend, if anybody likes to support the arts, it's a free event that they host every year in their arts department, and I would highly encourage everyone to attend.
Thank you, Councilmember Cook. Any other comments or announcements from the dais?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. This is Mayor Pro Tem Moore. I wanted to, public comment period is time set aside for council to listen and usually not respond. I want to thank you, Mr. Mayor, for taking the time to respond to some of the comments about High Point University. I should have done it myself. High Point University is not perfect, but sometimes the misinformation that surrounds that university is a bad thing and a little unfair. And I just want to say for the record, I've been on council long enough to have been part of several of the decisions and watched their growth. And I'm glad we have it in so many tangible ways, but probably more in the intangible ways that we saw exhibited tonight when a young lady said she hears about all that they do, but she doesn't see it. We happen to have a university that's led by one of the greatest communicators in the world, and the information's out there if you want to get it. As for the historic houses or the houses that the universities purchased through the years that many people have the perception that they were run out of their homes or lowballed, that's a lie. That's a matter of public record if you care to go find it. And the shutting down of Montlou for their expansion was very heated and discussed and going back and forth. But when they had the big meeting about that, the head of our police and fire, one of the main things was the emergency response times people were concerned about. And police and fire were there to answer all the questions and to give comment and feedback. And since that time, there doesn't seem to have been any delays or bad mishaps due to that fact. I guess my point is, with all growth comes challenges and problems. And we're very fortunate to have a good community partner in High Point University and a great leadership team which was here tonight to hear some more negative comments and some good ones. But it should be a relationship we nurture even through our difficult times and have a real open mind as to what's really going on there. And, you know, the easiest job in the world is to be a critic. And I'm thankful HPU is the man in the arena and is there doing what good that they can do in so many ways for our city. Thank you for the time.
Can I make one comment? Thank you for saying that. I just wanted to say, back to the HPU Greenway, and I mentioned to some of my colleagues that as the chair of the Prosperity and Livability and Safety Committee that listened to the presentation, I should have made it crystal clear that it was only a presentation. So I apologize if I made it seem like it was something that was a proposal and that HPU had already made their mind up. It was just a presentation, and I apologize for not making that clear. Thank you.
Thank you both. Any other questions or comments, announcements from the dais? I will say this council appreciates engagement from the residents all across our city. And Mr. Thibodeau, you were correct. It was a long meeting that we sat in. But the silver lining that we truly appreciate is that folks are engaged and they're paying attention. And you rather have that because that means there's something worth holding on to. People love this city and they want to do something about it. It's much better than apathy, people not caring. So we encourage engagement and we hope it continues to happen. Appreciate everyone who showed up this evening. Appreciate the work taking place with the local NAACP and the housing event that you all had, and hope you all keep fighting the good fight. Appreciate all of our social workers out there. Mr. Pemberton, I believe you look stylish enough for all of them. So thank you for coming and representing, and appreciate everyone who showed up to speak from the Cedro Group and everyone who spoke again about just issues all around the city. So thank you all so much. Thank you for coming and representing, and appreciate everyone who Is that what I sound like? Hearing yourself? Oh, I don't like that. Hey, all right. Is there a motion to adjourn? So move. Second. All right. Motion is recognized, I think, by Councilmember Holmes, seconded by Councilmember Andrew. Any discussion on the motion to adjourn? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any against? The ayes have it, and that motion it passes.